Listen up, team. We've got a new player joining us. Landon Gilbert, come on out. This lanky guy with a cocky smirk sauntered onto the court. Great. Just what we needed. Another hotshot thinking he's God's gift to basketball. All right, Gilbert, show us what you've got. I called out, tossing in the ball. It's a big mistake. The dude took off like a rocket, weaving through our defense like it was nothing. He sank a three-pointer and turned to me with that damn smirk. Not that good enough for you, Captain. I clenched my jaw. This was going to be a long season. After practice, I cornered Coach. Carl, you can't be serious. This guy's a total ball hog. He just shrugged. Give him a chance, Elliot. Gilbert could be our ticket to the championship. Yeah, right. More like our ticket to team drama. I stormed off, already dreading tomorrow's practice. Elliot, you're pairing up with Gilbert for drills today. You've got to be kidding me, I groaned. Coach's eyes narrowed. No arguments. You're the captain, set an example. I trudged over to Gilbert, who looked about as thrilled as I felt. Let's just get this over with, I muttered. We ran fast break drills in silence, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Then, out of nowhere, Gilbert blew past me like I was standing still. Whoa, I said before I could stop myself. Gilbert's smirk returned. Don't fall in love with me that easily, Captain. I glared at him. In your dreams, Gilbert. But as we kept at it, I couldn't help noticing how quick he was, how smooth his shots were. Damn, the guy had skills. After practice, Coach pulled me aside. See? Not so bad, right? I shrugged, not wanting to admit he might be right. We'll see. As I left, I caught Gilbert's eye. For a split second, something passed between us. Maybe this wouldn't be a total disaster after all. You're here early, I called out. He shrugged. Gotta stay sharp. Want to join? Before I knew it, we were running drills together. Gilbert's passes were crisp, his movements fluid. I found myself pushing harder to keep up. Not bad, Captain, he said, breathing hard. You almost kept up with me. I rolled my eyes, but I was grinning. In your dreams, Gilbert. As we wrapped up, Coach Carl walked in, eyebrows raised. Well, look who's playing nice. I wiped sweat from my forehead. Just working on our game, Coach. He nodded, a knowing smile on his face. Keep it up, boys. Later, during team practice, I noticed Gilbert actually passing the ball. When he set me up for an alley-oop, the whole team erupted in cheers. Nice assist, I said, bumping his fist. Gilbert's cocky smirk softened into something genuine. Nice finish. As I headed to the showers, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted between us. Maybe Gilbert wasn't such a bad addition to the team after all. The game was tight, back and forth the whole way. With 3 seconds left, we were tied. Gilbert had the ball, and I was open. Gilbert, I yelled, waving my arms. Time seemed to slow down. Gilbert looked at me, then at the hoop. I could see the wheels turning in his head. Then, to everyone's surprise, he passed. As the ball hit my hands, I jumped, released, and swish. The buzzer sounded. We'd won. The team dogpiled me, screaming and cheering. When we finally untangled ourselves, I sought out Gilbert. Why'd you pass? I asked, still catching my breath. He shrugged, that familiar smirk playing on his lips. Trust? In the locker room, I caught up to him again. Hey, Landon, I called, using his first name for the first time. He turned, eyebrow raised. Thanks, I said, for trusting me out there. Don't mention it, he replied. Then, after a pause, want to get some extra practice in tomorrow. Before the team shows up? I grinned. You're on? As I watched him leave, I realized something had definitely changed. Gilbert wasn't just a teammate anymore. He was becoming a friend. Ready to get your ass kicked, Captain. He teased. I snorted. In your dreams, Gilbert. We fell into a rhythm, our sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. One-on-one became our new normal, trash talk and all. Come on, you can get past me, Landon joked one morning, blocking my path. Watch me, baby, I shot back without thinking. We both froze. Did I just call him our baby? Landon recovered first, smirking. Two can play that game, sweetheart. I used his momentary distraction to dart past him and score. Don't hate the player, hate the game, I laughed. As weeks went by, our early morning sessions became the highlight of my day. We'd work out, then hit the showers, chatting about everything and nothing. One day, as we sat on the benches doing homework, Landon leaned in close to check my math. Stop staring, he murmured, not looking up. I'm doing my homework. What are you talking about? I stammered, feeling my face heat up. He glanced up, his face inches from mine. You're giving me those eyes again. Just my heart raced. Were we still joking around, or was this something more? Before I could respond, we heard voices in the hallway. We jumped apart just as our teammates entered the gym. As practice started, I couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to change between us. Hey, Landon said, leaning in close. You missed a step here. His breath tickled my ear. I turned my head and suddenly our faces were inches apart. Landon, I whispered, my heart pounding. He looked at me, then at my lips. Yeah? I. Before I could chicken out, I closed the gap and kissed him. For a second, he froze and I panicked. Shit, I'd read this all wrong. But then he kissed me back hard. It wasn't gentle or romantic. It was all pent-up frustration and desire. When we finally broke apart, both breathing heavy, Landon grinned. Took you long enough, Captain. I laughed, relief flooding through me. Shut up and kiss me again. Later, as we were leaving, reality hit me. Wait, I said, grabbing Landon's arm. What are we going to tell the team? His face fell. Shit, I didn't think about that. We stood there, the high from our kiss fading as we realized the complications ahead. Maybe we don't tell them yet, I suggested hesitantly. Landon nodded slowly. Yeah, okay, our secret for now. As we parted ways, I couldn't shake the feeling that keeping this secret was going to be harder than I thought. We still met for our early morning practices, but now they usually ended with stolen kisses in the locker room. We got to be more careful, I whispered one day, reluctantly pulling away from Landon. He groaned. I know, but it's killing me, not being able to touch you during practice. During team drills, we had to act like nothing had changed, but every accidental brush, every shared glance felt electric. One day Jeff, our forward, caught me staring at Landon a bit too long. You and Gilbert seem to be getting along better, he commented. I nearly choked on my water. Yeah, he's not as big of an asshole as I thought. Jeff laughed. High praise coming from you, Captain. Later, I cornered Landon in the equipment room. We need to cool it, I hissed. Jeff's getting suspicious. Landon pulled me close, so let him suspect. I'm tired of hiding, Elliot. I sighed, resting my forehead against his. Me too. But what if the team can't handle it? What if we lose everything we've worked for? The sound of approaching footsteps made us spring apart. As we left the room separately, I couldn't shake the feeling that our secret was about to blow up in our faces. It was late one night after practice. Landon and I were on our usual bench, supposedly doing homework, but his hand was on my thigh, and I was leaning in for a kiss when, oh my God. We jumped apart like we'd been electrocuted. There stood Sydney Smith, head cheerleader and gossip queen, phone in hand. This is huge, she stammered, eyes wide. Sydney, wait. I started, but she was already backing away, thumbs flying over her phone screen. Landon swore, well, shit. The next morning, it was like walking into a hurricane. Whispers followed us everywhere. Phones buzzed with text notifications. Everyone was staring. Guess the cat's out of the bag. Landon muttered as we approached our lockers. I nodded, throat tight. You ready for this? He reached for my hand, intertwining our fingers. Together? Taking a deep breath, I squeezed his hand. Together. We walked down the hallway hand in hand, ignoring the gasps and pointing. It felt terrifying and liberating all at once. As we neared the gym, I spotted our teammates huddled together, whispering furiously. My stomach dropped. This is it, I murmured to Landon, moment of truth. We pushed open the gym doors, bracing ourselves for whatever came next. So, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, I guess you guys heard. Jeff stepped forward and I tensed, ready for the worst. But then he broke into a grin. About damn time, you two. He laughed, clapping us both on the shoulder. The tension broke. Suddenly, we were surrounded by our teammates, all offering congratulations and support. We've known for weeks, Charles chuckled. You guys aren't exactly subtle. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. As we headed to the cafeteria for lunch, we ran to Chad Green and his football cronies. Well, Chad sneered, if it isn't the Fairy Brigade. Before I could react, Chad knocked Landon's lunch tray, spilling food everywhere. That's for being gay, Chad spat. I was about to throw a punch when suddenly Jeff, Charles, and Justin stepped between us and Chad's group. You got a problem with our boys? Jeff growled, towering over Chad. Chad backed up, suddenly not so tough. And no, we were just good, Charles cut in, because if you've got a problem with them, you've got a problem with all of us. As Chad and his goons scurried away, I looked at our teammates in awe. You guys really don't care that I trailed off. Justin threw an arm around each of us. Your family, simple as that. As we sat down to eat, surrounded by our teammates, our friends, I caught Landon's eye. He was beaming, and I knew I was too. For the first time since this all started, I felt like everything might just work out okay. The past month had been a whirlwind. Landon and I were out proud and stronger than ever. Our team had our backs, and we were playing better than ever. As I dribbled down the court, their shooting guard, Harold, got in my face. Your boyfriend screws you good, huh? He taunted. Bet you'd like it with me more. A month ago, that might have rattled me. Now, I just smirked. Sorry, not interested. I shot back, scanning the court. There was Landon breaking free from his defender. Our eyes met, and I knew. I passed the ball, perfect arc. Landon caught it, jumped, released. Swish. The buzzer sounded. We'd won. The team erupted, rushing the court. In the chaos, I found Landon. We did it, he yelled over the noise. Without thinking, I grabbed him and kissed him hard right there on the court. The cheers got even louder. When we broke apart, grinning like idiots, I saw Coach Carl beaming at us. Hey, Coach, I called out. Remember when I said Gilbert was too cocky? Coach laughed. Changed your mind, Elliot? I looked at Landon, who was being mobbed by our teammates. His face lit up with joy. Nah, I said, grinning. He's still cocky as hell, but now he's my cocky boyfriend. As I joined the celebration, I marveled at how much had changed. From rivals to secret lovers to out and proud champions. It hadn't been easy, but man, was it worth it. Landon caught my eye across the crowd and winked. Yeah, definitely worth it.